When I was a kid, Alice wanted me to be her constant companion forever. As we grew older, she developed a crush on someone else and made it clear to me, "Ethan, can you just stop bothering me for the rest of your life? Stay away from me. You annoy me just by being near." My father was so afraid of upsetting Alice that he quickly arranged for me to go study overseas. A long time passed, and then suddenly she started asking about me. My dad reassured her. "Relax, Alice. I've already arranged a marriage for him. He won't bother you anymore." The usually calm and composed young woman completely lost her composure in public. Alice was the young heiress of the Millwood family. My family, the Turner family, was just one of many smaller families that relied on the Millwoods. The only reason I was even allowed to spend time with Alice was due to some good fortune from our ancestors. My great-grandfather and Alice's great-grandfather were extremely close, like brothers. They found a desirable piece of land and built their homes right next to each other. That plot of land is now a luxury housing development, and the original homes have been updated into modern mansions by their descendants. I was essentially born as Alice's neighbor. It was a case of the closer you are, the easier the access. While other families were trying everything to get close to Alice, I was already her faithful sidekick. I was fine being her companion because it meant strong business ties between my family and the Millwoods. My dad constantly stressed that I had to stick close to Alice, be obedient, and pay attention to her needs, so that the Millwoods would always look favorably upon the Turners' business. I had a lot of competition, as every family wanted their son to be near Alice. Alice accepted anyone who showed up, but my position was pretty secure. Every time other boys tried to bully me, Alice would quickly send them away. Recently, it had been Marcus's turn. During a trip to the Maldives, Marcus was relaxing on a sunbed in his swim trunks, enjoying the sun, when he complained, "Ethan, my juice is all gone." I understood what he meant and grinned. "All right, juice coming right up." I rushed off to get a fresh drink. When I got back, I heard him complaining to Alice, "Why do you always bring Ethan along?" Alice just shrugged. "He wants to come, so I bring him." Huh. Alice always took me everywhere, ever since we were children. Happily, I set 2 glasses of juice down on the small table between them. "Here's the juice. Enjoy." Marcus shot me a fierce look. I loved that expression, him disliking me but being totally powerless to do anything about it. Marcus and I were classmates, so I knew exactly what kind of person he was. So when he ditched me during a sightseeing bus tour, I wasn't really surprised. But still, being in an unfamiliar place, not speaking the language, and without a phone, I wandered for a long time, unable to find my way back to the hotel. In the end, I sat down by the side of the road, tears blurring my sight. Amidst the haze, a lollipop appeared in my field of vision. My tear-soaked eyes lit up with joy. Alice. I knew it was her as soon as I saw the lollipop. When I was small, my parents were often away, and I would cry enough to get the attention of the Millwoods next door. Alice would always comfort me with a lollipop. Back at the hotel, Marcus was, unsurprisingly, gone. From that moment on, Marcus was on Alice's bad side. Marcus's family business was probably finished, too. In the revolving door of male companions, I was the constant. Ethan. I was feeling quite pleased, thinking I could stay with Alice forever. But reality proved I was quite naive. After college, Alice turned her attention to Philip. His family was just as powerful as Alice's. Philip had everything. Charm, education, family background, great physique, good looks, and intelligence. He was the real deal. Unlike other guys, Philip wasn't overly interested in Alice. When Alice pursued him, it wasn't like she could easily win him over as she usually did. His lack of interest sparked her curiosity, igniting a strong competitive desire. She waged a full-scale campaign to win Philip over, showering him with expensive watches and cars, yet Philip remained unaffected. She then switched tactics to a softer approach, waking up early and staying up late to personally buy him breakfast, have lunch with him, and meticulously arranging every detail. Like a dedicated assistant serving their boss, she was always available for him, just as I had been for her. I was her constant shadow. Philip also had a loyal companion, his cousin Ryan. Ryan and I would stand outside expensive French restaurants, staring each other down. Finally, the attractive couple would finish their meal and walk out. Philip thanked Alice, his lips slightly moving. "Thank you for dinner. I see your effort, but it's not enough yet." Ryan mockingly gave me a rude gesture, made a face of disgust, and happily followed Philip away. Alice frowned, but since Ryan was Philip's cousin, she didn't say anything. Philip was genuinely a remarkable young man. Even his hair seemed perfect. I pulled my gaze away from Philip's striking back and turned to Alice. Her eyes were still focused on that distant figure, filled with a look of firm resolve. On the weekend, Alice planned a day out on a yacht and invited Philip. Philip showed up with a girl. Alice, with a strained smile, pointed at her and asked, "Who is she?" Philip smiled warmly. It felt like a gentle spring breeze. Even as a guy, I found myself slightly charmed. He replied gently, "She's Janet, my childhood friend. We've always spent time together." For the rest of the trip, Alice wore a miserable expression, full of sarcasm. As we were leaving, I clearly heard Philip whisper in a gentle tone, "Alice, treat others the way you want to be treated. If you can have male childhood friends, why can't I have female ones? That seems a bit hypocritical, don't you think?" Alice stopped for a moment, hearing that. She glanced over to where I was standing, seemingly deep in thought. After Philip left, Alice stormed toward the parking area. "Alice! Alice, wait up!" I shouted after her, but she completely ignored me. I ran to catch up, and just as I reached out to touch her sleeve, she roughly shook me off. "Can you stop following me all the time?" Stumbling back, I stood there in shock. Her eyes were full of anger, impatience, and contempt. I couldn't find the words to ask her why. I never truly had the right to be by Alice's side. She had granted me that privilege and could take it away at any time. I watched her walk away, feeling a sudden emptiness inside me. The next day, Alice didn't wait for me to go to school together. Running into Ryan in the hallway, he looked at me with a smirk. "Ethan, your good times are limited." Still upset about being abandoned by Alice the night before, I wasn't in the mood to deal with Ryan. But he wouldn't let me go, grabbing my shirt and pushing me down to the ground. "What exactly are you doing?" I demanded, frowning at him. He knelt down, tapping my face. "A warning. Stay away from Alice. She's the one our family has chosen as a daughter-in-law." I looked seriously at Ryan. "Think you could help out with the Turner's business?" Ryan looked confused. "What are you talking about?" "Exactly what it sounds like." He rolled his eyes. "In your dreams." At that, I stood up and slapped him hard. "Damn it! Does everyone think they can treat me the way Alice does, just ordering me around? Can't help with my family's business but want to control my life? Not a chance." Ryan was furious, holding his face with a threatening glare, and lunging at me. I didn't hold back either, stepping aside, lifting a leg, and kicking him cleanly. He hit the floor hard. This whole scene cleared up a lot of the anger I'd felt since last night. I let out a big breath and went straight to class. After class, I planned to find Alice, but she found me first. Shocked and excited to see her at the door, I quickly packed up my books and hurried over. "Alice," I called, but she didn't answer or pat my head like she usually did. I thought she didn't look very happy. Maybe she was still angry about last night. But I hadn't really done anything wrong. She glanced at me and said, "Follow me." I walked along behind her. We were heading toward the art department. Sure enough, we arrived where Philip was. We weren't even close to the dance studio before I heard crying, and a terrible feeling hit me. Philip was comforting a sobbing Ryan. Alice led me over, brief and direct, ordering, "Apologize." I widened my eyes, displeased. How could Alice just take his side without knowing the full story? I protested. "He bullied me first." Ignoring my explanation, Alice was firm. "Ethan, apologize." "No, I won't." For the first time ever, I disobeyed Alice. Seemingly taken aback by my refusal, Alice's face grew angry. "If you don't apologize, don't ever show up around me again." I stared at her in disbelief. In the past, she always defended me when someone bullied me, but now she was the main one picking on me. I shot an angry look at Philip and Ryan. Philip looked sorry, glancing at Alice. "Alice, it was just a small fight between them. No need to be this serious. But next time, try to avoid the face. Boys care about their looks too, you know." Pretending to plead on my behalf, he was actually blaming me for Ryan's bruised face. True to form, Alice's expression became even colder, her look showing no flexibility. I realized she was trying to explain the situation to Philip, worried it would mess up her plans with him otherwise. Tears welled up in my eyes, pure frustration washing over my face. Arguing with myself for several minutes, I grudgingly apologized. "I'm sorry." As soon as Ryan heard my apology, he stopped crying and lifted his head. "That's all I get for how badly you treated me? One weak apology?" Noticing his bruised, swollen face, I was shocked. Did I really do that to him? "Your face?" Just as I was about to ask, Ryan slapped me, the sting burning my cheek. My anger surged. I was ready to hit back, but Alice caught my wrist. Struggling to get free, I shouted, "Alice, he hit me!" "Good, now you're even," she replied coldly. I stared at her. The childhood friend who always looked out for me now felt so different. Alice's eyebrows furrowed as she looked at me with disapproval. Finally, I yanked my hand away from Alice's grip and ran away, feeling completely let down. Now Alice and I were at odds. She didn't wait for me to go to school anymore, and whenever I left home, all I saw was her car driving away in the distance. At school, she avoided me completely, afraid I would cling to her. So I decided I'd enjoy some alone time and peace. Over the weekends, my dad noticed I was staying home more than usual. Worried, he finally approached me. "Ethan, are you having a disagreement with Alice?" Feeling down, I stayed silent. Dad gently explained, "For the past month, the Turners' business has run into major problems. Deals that were finalized are suddenly falling apart. If this continues, the Turners won't even be able to maintain appearances anymore. Maybe you could find out what Alice's stance is." Looking at his graying hair and face lined with concern, my heart ached. Dad took over the family business when it was in a mess. For the family's reputation, he's had to keep it all together no matter what. All these years, I was willing to play the subordinate for Alice, because seeing Dad bow and scrape before powerful people hurt. If keeping Alice happy meant stability for the family and a proud father, then a little damage to my pride was worth it. If I don't make the first move, Alice won't reach out on her own. I'm always the one who gives in first. She never contacts me on her own. The only time she did, she was accusing me on someone else's behalf. Monday. I was back at school, pacing outside Alice's department office. For weeks now, Alice has been openly dating Philip, and it's all over the news. I don't even know what my connection with her is anymore. Isn't that Ethan over there? That mocking tone. I couldn't mistake it. It was Marcus. He's been getting a lot of attention recently, with the Millwoods looking after his family and boosting their business. Marcus's entire family has moved up a notch in social standing. Back in the day, anyone who bothered me would be blacklisted by Alice. She's truly changed now. Why are you here to see Alice? Some people just don't know their own limits. A hanger-on dreaming of climbing up the social ladder to be someone important. Too bad princesses are meant to be with princes. His annoying chatter went on and on. I looked at him coldly. And you? Are you a wild peasant or a common crow? If I can't be the important person, how can he? If I'm not good enough for the princess, is he? Who are you, you disgusting person? Me? Just like that, Marcus got angry, but then he laughed it off. People like you are destined to be nobodies. Just wait. You'll be driven out of this city. Then he walked away, looking smug. Driven out? Me? Suddenly I thought of what Ryan had said. It must be Marcus causing trouble with Philip. I didn't get to see Alice in the end. She went to Harbor City with Philip. No worries, she'll definitely be at Mr. Millwood's birthday party. The weekend. Influential people from politics and business attended Mr. Millwood's birthday celebration. I looked around, but didn't spot Alice or Philip. After Grandpa and Mr. Millwood's speeches, the opening dance began. The bright lights dimmed. Colorful lights sparkled throughout the venue. A perfect couple appeared at the center of the dance floor. Music played. They danced gracefully. The dance ended, and applause thundered. They left, after thanking the crowd. Everyone was relaxing. I followed them, hoping to ask Alice about any deals involving the Turners. I followed them to the loft, and walked in on Alice and Philip kissing. I stood there stunned, then quickly hid behind a nearby door. Their intimate sounds were so clear. After who knows how long, they finally stopped. Alice grabbed a glass of red wine and gave it to Philip. They relaxed in the cool air, looking completely infatuated. When is that female friend of yours going to keep her distance? Philip leaned against the railing, swirling his wine. You're so difficult. You have your guy friends around. Why should my girl pal back off? Alice kissed his ear and whispered something I couldn't hear. All I caught was Philip saying, "Well, that depends on you." They stayed close for a while before leaving the loft. I stepped out, feeling like I'd been plunged into an ice bath. I had a feeling I really couldn't stick around Alice anymore. What about the Turners' business? Walking downstairs, I felt completely lost. Ryan, Marcus, and Janet mockingly raised their glasses toward me. All I wanted was to get away. I rushed to the restroom, gasping for breath in front of the mirror. Do you even know why the Turners are such a problem for the Grant family? I turned, seeing Marcus leaning casually against the door, smirking at me. He continued talking. I just passed on the news about the childhood betrothal between your families to the Grants. The Millwoods are a stepping stone for the Grants to expand their network. As for Alice, the Grants are determined to have her. You, if you know what's good for you, better leave. The Grants have influence on both sides of the law. They are not easy enemies. Childhood betrothal? Was there ever one? Is it Alice and me? I wanted to ask clearly, but Marcus was already gone. I returned to the banquet hall, spotting Alice chatting with someone, but no Philip. I quickly rushed over, trying to explain things to her. I never meant anything by the childhood engagement. I just want stability for the Turners. But Ryan blocked my way. Where are you going, Shadow? It's none of your business. Move. Don't snap at me again or you'll regret it like last time. You set me up on purpose. Ryan gave me a taunting look. Yep, I did it on purpose. So, what? You're just a contrast to my brother. With him around, Alice will always be on my side. I sneered. Yeah, like you're Alice's favorite person. You're just a cousin. Why the big show? Ryan's eyes narrowed with anger. He glanced behind me and stood aggressively close. I was getting completely fed up. Move. A nasty look flashed in his eyes. In just a second, our positions changed. He fell backward into the wine glass tower, and I couldn't pull him back. It looked like I had pushed him. The sound of smashing glass made everyone in the hall turn their heads. Ethan, why do you always make things difficult for me? What do I owe you? Ryan started accusing me, and I was speechless. It wasn't me. Alice walked up, frowning at me. I quickly went up to her, grabbing her sleeve. Alice, he fell on his own. It has nothing to do with me. Philip helped Ryan up, and the Millwoods family doctor checked Ryan's injuries. Philip gave Alice a worried look, hesitant to speak. But I already knew what he was thinking. The next second, Alice pulled her hand away from me. Ethan, can you just stay away from me? Stop causing trouble, making me clean up your mess afterward. I rushed to explain. No, I didn't. They all teamed up to bully me. They said we were promised to each other since childhood, so the Grants were always targeting me. Alice looked at me with disappointment. They said you had bad intentions towards me, and I didn't believe them. Now you've just proved them right. I glanced sharply at Marcus. His eyes were full of satisfaction. Then I looked at Philip and Ryan. They were all laughing at me. I had fallen right into their trap. Mr. Millwood walked in with a smile to ease the tension. Ethan, I've always thought of you like a son. You and Alice are closer than siblings. My mom and dad bowed and apologized to Grandpa. Ethan's just being thoughtless. We'll discipline him when we're back. Sorry for the trouble, they said. But I didn't care about their opinions. I just wanted to know what Alice thought. But Alice turned to chase after Philip. I grabbed her by the hem. Alice? She turned back, her eyes cold. Ethan, can you just stop bothering me your whole life? Stay away from me. You annoy me. Her icy and distant look scared me enough to let go. I was left staring, tears welling up. She gave me a cold glance before going after Philip. The noise around me was deafening, but I felt like I was in a freezer. Ever since Alice openly expressed her dislike for me at the party, the Turners' business has been struggling. Dad is stressed out, and Mom is worried sick. I still want to win Alice over, hoping she'd help the Turners, but I can't even get near her. I've waited outside her department, hung around her home, and even tried getting an appointment at M Group, Millwood Group. But nothing worked. I couldn't even catch a glimpse of her. Coming back dejected once again, Ryan, Marcus, and a bunch of other unknown guys blocked my way. I wasn't in the mood for a fight and tried to go around them, but they wouldn't let me. I looked coldly at Ryan, my gaze completely empty. Move, I said. Ryan just smirked, his arms crossed, challenging me. Nope. What are you going to do about it? At his signal, one of his subordinates started messing with me. Back off, I yelled angrily. They ignored my anger, making it worse. When they pushed me again, and I stumbled back, I warned them, my eyes blazing red. I'm telling you, leave me alone. Don't mess with me. Ryan laughed. Go ahead, see what happens when you cross Ethan. Encouraged by him, they stopped holding back, pulling my hair, tugging my clothes, and pushing me around like a toy. Furious, I snapped one of the hands grabbing me. The crack was clear. Then I kicked and tripped two of them and slapped a couple more. After dealing with the subordinates, I turned to Ryan and Marcus. Two spoiled brats. They couldn't match someone like me who had trained in martial arts since childhood. Because of my close connection with Alice, there were fools who kidnapped me once to threaten the Millwoods. Ever since then, Alice and I started regular martial arts training. Though it wasn't me who beat Ryan black and blue last time, Alice knew I had the skill. That's probably why she so easily believed I hurt Ryan. But wait, if Ryan knew and tried to frame me with that, he must know my skills. So why provoke me? A sudden chill hit me, a bad feeling creeping in. Ryan fell, looking pale, holding his stomach and crying for help. Following his gaze, I turned, met with eyes deep and cold. I froze. No way to argue with evidence and witnesses against me. Philip had Ryan and Marcus taken, away. Alice was the last to leave. She paused after a few steps and turned back. I barely caught her profile. "Ethan, I guess I never really knew you." Her words hit me hard. My throat felt blocked, aching to speak, to explain. I opened my mouth but couldn't say a word. A wave of sorrow hit me, tears I couldn't hold back. I stumbled home like a ghost. In the dim room, all strength gone, I slept for a whole day and night. The next morning, feeling completely drained, I went downstairs. The house was dark, not a soul around. I was thirsty, but the water dispenser was empty. I had no idea where my parents were. Sitting on the couch, I felt like crying. I heard noise from the maid's room and looked over. Molly, dragging a suitcase, turned back every few steps. Seeing me, she looked relieved. "Young master, please talk to your father. Don't let them fire us. I don't mind a lower wage or even no pay. I've worked for the Turners for years. I can't stand to leave. I believe they'll get through this," she pleaded. Feeling dizzy from her continuous words, I croaked, "Fired? A crisis?" She wiped her tears. "Sir and Madam haven't slept for days, trying to bring in investors. A few products failed, facing high compensation." Only then did I realize how completely broken the Turners had become. I held Molly's hand. "Don't leave yet, please. Let me think of something." Swallowing hard, I said, "Just wait." Molly stayed, but the house's finances were ruined. I handed over all the money I had to Molly, asking her to manage things. Then I found my parents at the rundown entrance of T Group, Turner Group, surrounded by thugs. These people were shouting, "You have to explain. My daughter died from eating your product." "Yeah, your food poisoned my kid. Now he's in the ICU." Mom and Dad were in front, with company representatives behind them. Troublemakers called in journalists to make a scene. I saw one of the agitators holding a knife. Instantly, I knew something was wrong. "Dad, be careful." I rushed forward as fast as I could and kicked the knife away. The crowd immediately became agitated. It was incredibly hard to get everything under control. Then I turned around and ran into workers demanding their pay. T Group hasn't paid wages for 2 months. It took a lot of effort to calm the workers down. The office felt dead. Dad looked completely exhausted. Mom was crying softly. Dad kept hitting himself in frustration. "It's all my fault. I'm useless. T Group is going to fail because of me." I quickly stepped in. Dad, it's not your fault." He was crying, wiping his face, and struggled out a few words. "T Group might have to file for bankruptcy." Bankruptcy? My heart sank. But honestly, I felt it wouldn't be the worst thing for T Group. This burden needs to be lifted. A failed descendant has to beg for forgiveness from our ancestors. Hearing this, I snapped back to reality, feeling a slight panic inside. Dad values T Group more than his life. Without it, He'd really consider ending everything. "Dad, don't do this. Wait. I'll go talk to Alice. Please don't do anything foolish." But he was lost in his sadness, not listening. It was like he was already planning on meeting our ancestors. My anxiety grew. Not caring about how I looked, I immediately caught a taxi to M Group. "I need to see your Alice." The receptionist responded politely. "Sorry, you need an appointment to see Alice." That's the reality. When Alice and I were close, those who now enjoy watching me struggle would eagerly show me to the executives. But now, I can't even get through the door. It's just the rules of this worldly society. I tried to force my way in, but got dragged out by security. "I need to see Alice. Let her come out and meet me." They replied mockingly, "Alice isn't just someone anybody can see." Worried about Dad, I felt powerless, slumping to the ground in utter embarrassment. Finally, Alice's assistant, Mark, saw me and informed me she wasn't at the office. She might be home. So I headed to the Millwoods residence. Even the staff there weren't as welcoming as before. "Businesslike," they told me. "Miss hasn't been back for a while. Alice doesn't just stay in one place." Since she got close to Philip, I rarely see her here. As I was leaving, I noticed a flyer for a product launch on the coffee table. I took note. The next day, I found the location of M Group's product launch. I put on a disguise and sneaked in. After the launch, I stood at a spot where Alice would have to pass. Our eyes met, but she didn't seem interested in talking. She turned to leave. I reached out. "Alice?" She turned to me, her gaze cold. "What do you want?" I braced myself. "Alice, please save T Group." If Alice intervenes, T Group can overcome all its problems. Why? Why? That's the first time she asked me for a reason. T Group always relied on M Group's support. I never thought we'd need a reason. I felt uncertain. For the sake of old times, since we grew up together? Alice scoffed. "Old times? It's more like I paid for a service." Paid for a service? So that's how she's seen me all these years? A shudder ran through me, my fingers slowly curling up. Part of me wanted to give up, but my parents' pale faces wouldn't leave my mind. So, I looked at Alice pleadingly, my voice trembling with unshed tears. "Please save T Group. I'm afraid my dad won't be able to take it." Alice looked at me mockingly, her words chilling. "What does that have to do with me if he can't handle it? I don't want to support others anymore. Don't come to me again." I grabbed her sleeve. She glanced at me with distaste. She yanked my hand away. My hand turned red from her rough handling. "I have important things to attend to now, so don't anger me." With that, Mark held me back as Alice, hands in her pockets, walked away. Watching her fading figure, my heart sank even deeper. I don't know how I walked out of that building. I only remember being grabbed and taken into a van as soon as I stepped out. Half an hour later, the blindfold was ripped off. My vision slowly cleared. Seeing who was in front of me, I frowned. Ryan. Ryan looked at me with a cold stare. Ethan, you don't have your protector anymore. Let's see how you act all tough now." A slap hit my face, making my mouth bleed. I wanted to fight back, but realized my hands and feet were tightly bound. I glared at Ryan. "What do you want?" Ryan laughed. "Revenge, of course. You've hit me several times before. I may not have many good qualities, but holding grudges is one." I closed my eyes. Being in his grasp, there was probably no escaping this time. Ryan punched and kicked me, hitting all the sensitive spots. Before long, I was breaking into a cold sweat, struggling to breathe. Seeing my lack of reaction, just enduring it, Ryan lost interest. Ah, beating someone isn't that fun after all. How about we make things a little more interesting? Call Alice. If she comes to save you, I'll let you go. If she doesn't, then don't blame me. Call Alice? She hasn't responded to me in ages. If I call her, will she even pick up? Ryan motioned for his men to untie me. Once the ropes were off, I collapsed to the ground. Call. If Alice cares, I'll let you go. Deep down, I really didn't want to contact Alice again. But years of shared history played like a movie in my mind. I still held some hope and expectation for her. So, under Ryan's pressure, I dialed Alice's phone. I tried every way I could to reach her. Alice didn't respond at all. I listened hopelessly to the endless ringing of the phone. Oh, my memory's really slipping. Today's my brother's birthday. Alice is probably swamped, right? She's got to get the present ready and set up the party. Man, I'm a bit jealous. So the important thing Alice mentioned was Philip's birthday. I laughed softly, tears streaming down. My stomach, where Ryan kicked me, started cramping up in pain. Seeing my state, Ryan wanted to make it worse. Since you can't get through, let me try. I'll ask her for you. Ryan video called Alice. Busy? Alice just replied with a quiet, Ethan wants to say something to you. Upon hearing my name, Alice frowned but didn't say anything. It hurt deeply. She wouldn't take my call, yet she answered Ryan's. Ryan aimed the phone at me. I probably looked terrible, tearful and sorrowful. I whispered, Alice, help me. Ethan, what kind of trick are you pulling now? I know your skills better than anyone. Ryan can't beat you. Even if something's going on, don't bother me. On the other side, Alice was on a rooftop. The place was grand, beautifully set up. Philip was in the center, happily socializing. Alice ended the call. Her indifference crushed my last hope. Pathetic. I was like a rag doll on the ground. The loss of hope was more devastating than the physical pain. Alice wasn't the Alice I knew anymore. Seeing I had no fight left in me, Ryan lost interest too. Boring. I'm heading to my brother's birthday party. Have a great evening. Ryan left. But he left behind 5 burly guys. They grinned wickedly, walking toward me. 3 years later. The Millwoods. Dad got invited to Grandpa's silver wedding anniversary party. He's quite used to these gatherings now. Just about nodding, bowing, and giving compliments, right? He's got it down. He had just toasted a very important person when he bumped into someone. He apologized immediately. Sorry. He looked up and saw it was Alice. Dad awkwardly smiled and tried to slip away. Alice's face darkened upon hearing him. She angrily commanded, "Stop!" He turned around, only to have Alice snap at him. He turned back, standing a meter away from her. Anything, Alice? Ethan. Before Alice could finish, Dad interrupted, promising earnestly, Alice, don't worry. He's betrothed. He won't be bothering you again. Alice froze for a second, feeling an emptiness inside her. She coldly told Dad, say that again. Alice's presence was intense, and Dad wiped the sweat off his forehead. He repeated, Alice, rest assured. He has promised to another. He won't be in your way. Dad said it again. Alice's face changed dramatically. She threw her glass to the ground, shattering it. Everyone around was shocked. Seeing things were going badly, Dad slipped away while Alice stood fuming in place. The first thing he did when he got home was call me overseas. I was a bit confused answering his call. It was still early morning for me. He doesn't usually call at this hour. What's up, Dad? Son, stay hidden out there. Something happened? Dad told me about Alice's public outburst with the glass, the Millwoods, Alice's study, Her eyes were fixed on the tech guys tinkering with some gadgets. My conversation with Dad came through loud and clear. "Any way to trace it?" A technician furrowed his brow, working carefully. After a series of beeps, he shouted, "Got it!" I was a little groggy, but wide awake after hanging up. I got up and stared out the window. Cars zipped by. Neon lights shone even at this hour. I thought back to that evening. Someone saved me just in time. He recorded the whole thing. I used that video to threaten Philip. Ryan is just another subordinate like me. The only one with real power in the grants is Philip, the boss's son. I told Philip that if he didn't do what I asked, I'd make the video public, exposing Ryan's violence. The media alone would crush the grants, disrupting their expansion plans. Meanwhile, I told him the more the Turners faced trouble, the more I'd cling to Alice's influence, making our childhood engagement public, sticking him with the shame. Philip gave in. He agreed to help the Turners, and I left. The day I left, it rained heavily. Philip, afraid Alice would find out, gave the Turners a financial boost. My folks went for the ribbon-cutting ceremony. I quietly headed to the UK alone. By then, my heart was numb. Alice's coldness had devastated me, making me leave without any hesitation. I told Mom and Dad to take me off the official records, change my name, and slowly establish myself abroad. Shortly after I left, Alice got engaged to Philip. The engagement was grand, broadcast live globally. I saw it too, from overseas. Not long after I got to the UK, I met Sarah. She's educated, came from a good family, and discreetly helped the Turners a lot. During this time, my folks, Sarah and I, met in several countries. They were pleased with Sarah, telling her to look after me. Back when I left, Philip's money temporarily saved T Group, but ongoing support was needed. Sarah helped ease this burden, keeping the Turners from completely failing. Just hopefully, the Millwoods and the Grants leave T Group alone. I could go my whole life without returning to my home country or facing them again. When I first got to the UK, I felt really down. I didn't know anyone and was completely lost. After some time here, I embraced the locals' love for tea and opened a bubble tea shop. It became a big success. One shop turned into 2, then 3. I also helped T Group with their sales problems by creating overseas sales channels for their products. This finally pulled them out of a long period of losses and low sales. Now life is relatively comfortable. I sit in my office, going over the numbers in the books. There's a knock at the door. "Come in." "Are you busy?" I look up and see Sarah walk in with some afternoon tea. "Not busy," I say, getting up to join her on the couch. I hand her an envelope. Sarah looks puzzled. "What's this?" she asks. "Open it and see," I reply. Once Sarah sees what's inside, she understands. She seems a bit upset. "Ethan, do we have to be so formal about things?" I smile and say, "Even close friends keep financial matters clear. Only when I've paid back everything I've borrowed can we talk as equals. My business is doing well, thanks to you." I pat her shoulder. "Don't be unhappy. Clearing these debts lifts a huge weight off my shoulders. Finally, no more burdens. Would you want me to always carry that mental baggage?" Sarah's lovely expression softens a little. I take it as a chance to change the mood. "Now I'm finally free. Let's go. My treat for dinner." We went to a well-known restaurant, which we hadn't been able to try yet because it was quite a distance from where we live. Sarah and I ordered some classic dishes. Before eating, I headed to the restroom. On my way back, I asked a server where it was. They pointed me in the right direction. When I left the restroom, someone blocked my path. I was looking down at my phone. not noticing them at first. "Excuse me, please," I said. They didn't move. Putting down my phone, I looked up. Suddenly, it was like time stopped. Everything around us was a blur. There I stood, facing them, feeling an old scar in my heart threaten to reopen. Memories I wished to forget seemed ready to break free. The calmness of my heart was disturbed. Don't even remember how I got back to the dining room. "What happened? You look upset after just going to the restroom," Sarah asked, concerned. I forced a smile. "Nothing." "Is it an upset stomach?" Sarah teased, making me laugh. "You think too much. Just eat." I assumed Alice had left by the time we finished, but as soon as we stepped out, Sarah was attacked. Alice was aggressive, swinging punches at Sarah, who was caught off guard and took several hits. "Stop it!" I pleaded repeatedly, but Alice was completely focused, not listening. With no choice, I caught her fist and pushed her back. That finally made her stop. But why did she look so hurt? Ignoring her, I quickly checked on Sarah's injuries. "Are you okay?" Sarah's face was a mess, but she still smiled and shook her head. "I'm fine." "Let me take you to a doctor." I helped Sarah away, making sure to watch Alice in case she tried something again. She stared at me with eyes full of unsaid words. I couldn't handle it, so I left with Sarah. I thought Alice would leave too. But when I got home later, I saw her waiting at my door. I hesitated for a moment, then decided I had nothing to fear. I hadn't done anything wrong. So I calmly unlocked my door, went inside, and shut it right behind me. Exhausted, I crashed into bed. The next morning, I opened my door. A figure fell forward from where they had been leaning. It was Alice. She looked pale, with sweat beads on her forehead, and seemed unconscious. I was torn about what to do. In the end, I knew I should help her. But as I reached out, the pain from that time Ryan beat me came rushing back. Frozen by that memory, I withdrew my hand. She didn't help me back then. So I pushed her away, closed the door, and left her lying there. I didn't understand what game she was playing. Anyway, it wasn't my problem. I've moved on. I don't have to be Alice's subordinate anymore, doing everything to please her. Her fate is not my concern. But ever since that day, she's been like a shadow, always around. When I eat, she's outside the window. At art shows, she stands on every corner. When I go to work, she's at the office entrance. What's worse, whenever I'm with Sarah, Alice attacks her. In all this time, I hadn't spoken a single word to Alice. I thought she'd eventually lose interest. But it had been 2 whole months, and she was still doing this. Many times, her assistant Mark watched from a distance, looking like he wanted to say something but didn't. At the office, people whispered. Back home, my neighbors avoided me like I was contagious. One night, Alice wasn't there when I got home. I felt relieved, but also strangely empty. As usual, I quickly unlocked, entered, and shut my door. I'm a light sleeper. Half asleep, I heard the sound of my door lock. I woke up, alert. In the dark, I reached for something to defend myself, a bit of wood, and hid behind the couch. Someone was searching through my place, looking for something. They entered my bedroom, realized the bed was empty, and became cautious. My heart raced. I'd hoped to just let it go, but now I couldn't. When they were close enough, I attacked first, swinging hard at their back. The person shouted, quickly fought back, and the confrontation began. I just realized he had an accomplice, 2 massive guys, each 6'3". Even though I've trained in martial arts, handling them was seriously difficult. One of them pulled out a short knife, and the glare from the streetlight made me squint. I got knocked down when I wasn't paying attention. As one of them lunged with a knife, I rolled away just in time. But being trapped like this, I was already exhausted. Eventually, one of them tied my hands, and the other pointed a knife at me. I closed my eyes in despair. Right at the last moment, someone burst in. Alice kicked away the guy with the knife. I seized the chance to break free. Together, we subdued the thugs and called the police. After the police took our statements and left, we both collapsed on the couch. I wanted to break the awkward silence and thank Alice, but she fell off the couch, unconscious. Outside the hospital room, Mark looked grim. "Ethan, Alice hasn't been eating or sleeping well these past 2 months. Her body is totally worn out." Before he could finish, the doctor called for family. I walked into the room and saw a pale-faced Alice. It didn't feel right. "How are you?" Alice smiled gently, just like when we were kids. "I'm fine. Let me peel you an apple." I hesitated, shocked. I just said it randomly. She used to hate apples. But with no choice, I sat down and started peeling. After finishing the fruit, the situation felt awkward. I wanted to leave but felt strange saying so, checking my watch every now and then. "If you have things to do, you can go," she said. I felt relieved. "All right, I'll get going then." As the door shut, I saw her frown reflected in the glass. "But Alice, this wasn't my fault. Everyone's got to face the consequences of their own actions." I thought Alice would be in the hospital for a few days, but the next day, she was at my doorstep again. This time, I invited her in. "Alice, do you need something from me? You've been so persistent for 2 months. I really don't know what M Group wants from me." Alice's lips tightened. Her face flushed, but still a bit pale. Her voice choked up. "I just miss you." "Miss me?" I frowned, not quite understanding, and I wasn't in the mood to guess. So I changed the topic. "Did you marry Philip?" Alice froze for a second, didn't answer, so I continued. "You probably have kids by now." She looked at me. "Don't you read the news?" I shook my head. "Nope, I like my peaceful life now. I've moved on, got new friends and a new life. I've lost touch with everything back home." Alice gave a bitter smile. "No people, no memories you cherish back there?" I looked at Alice and said in all seriousness, "No." That day, Alice left looking heartbroken, her lonely, back just like mine when I left for overseas years ago. But no one really understands anyone else's pain. People need to live in the present. Alice never showed up like a ghost in my life again. My life returned to peace. Thinking of Sarah, I felt a little guilty. Alice would hit her at every chance, so I tried to keep Sarah away those couple of months. Now Alice is gone. I went to visit Sarah with a gift. I saw her arguing with some guy from afar. Frowning, I parked my car and walked over, overhearing words like deception and shameless. I interrupted. "Marcus?" I hadn't seen him in years, yet he hadn't changed a bit. Marcus looked slightly surprised to see me. "Ethan?" I glanced between Sarah and Marcus. "You guys know each other?" They stayed quiet, which said enough. "What's this argument about?" Marcus scowled at Sarah, who turned her head away. In Sarah's living room, he asked, "Ethan, how have you been?" "Good," I replied. "Glad to hear. Thanks again for saving me back then." 5 strong men left there by Ryan. It was a clear message. At that critical moment, Marcus showed up with backup and got me out. Marcus had faked loyalty to the Grants. The house where I was kidnapped was found by him. He'd installed surveillance beforehand, capturing the whole thing. That video was what I later used to threaten Philip. Marcus laughed awkwardly. "It was all Alice's plan." "What?" I was completely confused. "Alice? What's she got to do with this?" I recalled seeking her help back then. She'd told me to look elsewhere. Marcus explained, "Alice pretended to marry into the Grants just to get revenge for you. The Grants are a criminal family. The people who kidnapped you were from the Grants. After that kidnapping, you were ill for a year, afraid of the dark, scared to touch or be touched. It was Alice who stayed by my side day and night back then, telling me not to be afraid, saying it was all in the past and that she'd get revenge for me one day. My heart felt heavy with a flood of emotions I had suppressed. So many years ago, she'd said she'd get revenge, and she actually did? Marcus was her plant inside the Grants, too. Even Sarah was part of Alice's plans. Marcus was visibly angry when he mentioned Sarah. That jerk doesn't even understand. You don't go after a friend's partner. Alice just asked her to watch over you, but then she fell in love. She changed her name and everything, keeping you close, effectively cutting Alice off from tracking you. It made Alice anxious. A few years back, fearing Alice might find me, I even kept my phone number secret from my family and mostly used payphones. Turning to Sarah, her lips tight with guilt. "Is it true?" I asked. Sarah nodded apologetically. "I'm sorry, but my feelings for you are real." No wonder Alice punched Sarah every time she saw her. None of them were innocent. I had one last question for Marcus. "What's your deal with Sarah?" "She's my stepmom, my runaway mom's stepdaughter." Leaving Sarah's place, my head was a little scrambled. Enemies aren't enemies. Friends aren't really friends. It feels like something's missing. Walking through the square, watching the small groups of people pass by, I feel like I'm in another world. Curiosity got the better of me, so I looked up news about Alice and Philip. Big business marriage breakdown. The shocking secrets of the Grants. The Grants exposed for money, laundering, and drug dealing. The Grants as criminal protectors. The Grants go bankrupt. Grants' main members caught. These headlines are all from 2 months ago, each making front-page news. Yet I still can't forgive Alice. Why could she tell Marcus and not me? Why choose to hide and hurt me instead? We could have fought together, side by side. Instead, I was left feeling like I owed her, while it tore me apart. Is that what Alice thinks love is? Knowing the truth hasn't changed my life. I still wake up, go to work, eat, come home, and sleep. It's a routine, until one day I get a package. I open it. It's a stock transfer and asset gifting agreement. Alice gave me all her shares in M Group and transferred her assets to me. I'm stunned. What's this about? I tried to contact her but realized I didn't have her number. I called Dad. He hesitated. "Ethan, maybe you should come back and see Alice." Confused, I couldn't believe Dad wanted me to visit Alice. When I left, I told Dad Alice went after the Turners because I was in her way, so Dad sent me off, wanting me never to return. And now? Now he's asking me to see Alice. "What happened?" I asked, stunned. Dad sighed. "She's young, but she's sick. She's given up on treatment." After the call, I was restless. The envelope in my hand felt heavier than ever. I wrestled with my thoughts, finally convincing myself I had to return what she gave me, so I set out to find her. At the Millwoods, I learned Alice wasn't home. Her mom took my hand. "Ethan, she did what she had to. The Grants were after the Millwoods, too. If pushed, the Grants could take us down. Your engagement to Alice was real. She sent you away so the Grants wouldn't target you and she could get things done. After you left, she fought and won against them." Mr. Millwood explained how the government wanted to take down the Grants, but needed someone to do it quietly due to political tensions. Alice was perfect for the job. With me gone, she had nothing holding her back. She led me to Alice's study. Walls covered in my photos. How could anyone believe she didn't care for me? Now she's sick, hiding somewhere. "We can't find her." Mr. Millwood's voice cracked. "You searched everywhere?" I asked. "We did," he replied, choked up. "All over. She's just gone." Could she be preparing to vanish forever somewhere secret, knowing her time was short? My heart ached. I paced, thinking about where she'd go in her final days. Her study gave no clues. Then I noticed, amid all those photos, one with a pyramid. It hit me. When I was little and got kidnapped, I thought I would die. I told Alice, "If I die, make me a mummy so you can visit me." Alice forbade such talk. "You're not dying. If we do, it's together, and we stay as mummies forever." She must care so deeply. She wouldn't want me to hurt if she left without a trace. Could she have meant it? I headed to Egypt. In modern times, mummification isn't practiced, but some workshops still know the craft for special burials. I searched until I found one of these places, and Alice was there, at a workshop whose ancestors mummified royalty. Though illegal, some wealthy people still wished for this burial method. I walked through the door, a quiet courtyard, a deck chair creaking as it swayed. I approached and saw Alice resting with her eyes closed. Tears filled my eyes. I stormed over, furious. "Alice, you coward, hiding because you're sick? Where's your responsibility? M Group is yours. Why dump it on me? You've ruined my life only to abandon it again?" Alice opened her eyes, shocked to see me there, and listened in stunned silence. "Do you know how ugly mummies are? I like pretty little fairies, not ugly things. Go die someplace else far away." Alice tried to speak. Finally, she squeezed out a sentence, cautiously watching my reaction. "So, should I freeze on Mount Everest?" I almost laughed out of frustration. "I don't like dead people. I like the living, lively, full of energy." In the end, I managed to bring Alice home. On the plane. "Is it because when I was a kid, I said I wanted to be turned into a mummy when I die?" Alice nodded. I was speechless. "That was when I was a kid. I didn't know mummies were ugly back then. I don't like mummies now." Alice stared right into my eyes. "As long as the body's preserved well, the soul will return." I wanted to say more, but her words stopped me. "So, does she want to preserve the body and have the soul come back to me? Sounds creepy, but kind of moving. Can't we just be fine on our own?" She's a grown woman, but makes people worry. I looked at her, frustrated. She batted her eyes at me like a wronged little wife. I felt some sympathy. She's sick now, yet I still don't know what's wrong with her. "What exactly is your illness? Is it really terminal? Do you have to die?" She hesitated. I got angry. "Are you even a woman? You can't even explain your condition, just blabbering nonsense." "Breast cancer." Her words interrupted my rant, and I looked at her in surprise. Did I hear that right? "What?" she said clearly this time. "Breast cancer." I was momentarily speechless. I looked away, feeling awkward. I secretly searched it on my phone. Although breast cancer is common, being under constant stress and having bad emotional states does increase the risk of breast issues. Is that how she got it? So keeping a good mood and mindset is crucial. Nothing in life matters besides life and death. Back home. Found the best hospital, the best doctors. Before she went into surgery, she held my hand tightly. "Ethan, wait for me to come out." I warned her. "You have to come out alive. If you die, I'll take your money and find fairies and sprites." Alice looked upset as she entered the operating room. "I won't give you the chance." As the doors closed, separating me and Alice into two worlds, I haven't completely forgiven Alice in my heart. But whether I choose to forgive in the future or not, she has to be here. The debt ends with life. She tormented
What's
me.
up, TNT?
I need her alive to settle the score. During the wait, I dozed off, going back to childhood. I liked being her little follower, because getting along with Alice meant the Millwoods would take care of the Turner's business. Stick with me for life? I asked with a gentle smile. You stick with me for life, I stick with you for life. What's the difference? Alice scratched her head. There's no difference, really. It's a lifetime either way. I nodded. Right. So be my little follower for life. Alice thought about it, then nodded. Okay, for life.
Why is this shit all fucking stupid?
What, your Spotify?
What's wrong with my Spotify?
Well, I was just wondering, maybe, you know.
Don't be a dick.
Maybe the... No. I was just saying, you know, after everybody else gets a hold of it.
Oh. Boom roasted. Alright. Just wrapping up work right now, getting to tap into Red Sec all night. Hell yeah, dude. I don't know how you guys play Red Sec.
Same way we play multiplayer. Mouse, keyboard, controller.
Smart ass.
Okay, last one. Last one.
Alright now.
Our troops are close to securing the battle. Stop at nothing.
Shots. Fuck yeah.
Attack heli is trying you.
Attention, objective Echo is under attack.
Twizzle. TNT-izzle. Is that how you say that? That was nothing. Fuck. I need to put my glasses back on.
We are attacking objective Bravo.
I'm so upset on that team.
That's a really good point. What's a really good point? Didn't do bad. 22 and 8. Oh, how to play Red Sec? Yeah, Red Sec.
Meta, you're just bad.
I'm just bad? Is that what you just said?
No, game chat. They were talking shit about each other.
Oh, I was about to say, mods ban them. I need to go and put some beer in the freezer. It says I can't bane your lead mod even if he's a weenie. Aaron, what's up? How you doing? Yo. Alright, I need to go put some beers in the freezer. My phone's ringing.
You want me to ban Doom instead?
You want me to ban Doom instead? I'll do it? No.